bagenzi harohe kichweka ekinkumanya kikahumba ruhanga ubu yemera hansozi olengerensi amare.
Hamuntu wena aliyo natura yenchakara hati 4TV kusima kusango charo kano kutwegeta muleno saya topical of discussion na metobantea mtochi ensonga stalizim na zimu mwihanga lenu area Uganda keramuno alkano akeire na betulio ntsera obebembezo bushaka oraswa kwa mutwali hanga lenu meiso handengo estalizim na zimu kurugaba LC1 kwikaba president wihanga lenu area Uganda bantu benga nyugure kwa nibe Simba nibasera obebembezi y'Oburundi kwante baswa kwa matwara ihanga leno meiso kandi kiro cha hati ngo tukentu barangera kuga kiro chaijo so kwantu egate waho president wekitebe echa Alliance for National Transformation. Alliance for National Transformation kiri kitebe cha so kwa nikiechwa kitebe kile cha FDC hawensonga ezinyakumanyiro kuronge muno president wekitebe na ma members abekitebe abatalibamu nabamu kandi kutawagambi General Mugisha Muntu al Tooro region and Rwenzori nambaliyo na sera akaruru guno mundu gwa kabiri obaliyo na guno mundu gwa kabiri na Simba hantebege wa president kwanti na kusokwa na twai hanga lenu meiso veitu ntakamwezo Mugisha kwa na mchana then we go direct to our topic of discussion ni usabogenda Afro Mobile Hayo TV Airtel TV Angenda Garden TV ojakubanora 4TV. If you cannot watch us, you can also listen to 40 Radio that is online. This program is live on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook account, and those ones on Azam, you can watch us this morning. You can join our topic of discussion on our different social media handles, that is our X, Facebook. You can just go there and drop in your message. Amabaragange ninyowe kiza Robert akiki akujakuwa na kutwara muntekane zenu mpaka saa hina eza nyenchakara ntakusisabwira kampeza General Mugisha sokwa na yanjura abantu bato. General, most welcome to 4TV this morning.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah. You can greet our people who are watching us, then we start we'll go direct to our topic of discussion.
Nimbara mcha mwena Fort TV Murumuta mwewale byona murukora
Oguno mgenyo utwine kilo chahati and is none other than General Mugisha Muntu is here. We shall be looking at a lot of issues, but mostly I want us to start. What is the Alliance for National Transformation's agenda for Tooro region and Rwenzori? We remember in the last elections wakabali mchweke echa Karago agamba abantu ba Tooro ninyo munyakulemiza government yenu muwebembezi habwe myaka yona. Most of people took it for granted, and Mugisha Muntu is among baseja bagenze mukisaka kubamba rwanira obwembezi buno bunyakuroho. He was among those ones who were in the bush from 1880 to 1886 kwika President Museveni sokwa na twara obwembezi. President, before we go there, what is NT's agenda for Tooro region?
Harhe bintu ebiruko affecting Tooro kandi biko affecting nebcheka bintu byona ebyo mwihanga. So kutukushobora ebintu ebyo buri chweka nchigasuro na Tooro kambanze nebyo corruption. Government yene kubasa kushobora ebizibe biri mw'ihango nkibura ryembazo mu marwaro engudombi standards zo kushoma kuba ziri hansi munonga okuguza emermo districts zone zitukuza ezitwaheza ashatu n'ibiri twaheza tuhereze kutambura districts hata ashatu n'ibiri na division zibiri za Kampala tina twashira bataguze emirimo abana bakorwa mu za universities tertiary institutions abacha bakutunga emirimo neyo kugura so water rwani senguzi ukajezaho mu ihanga ebyo byona nabikoremo niyo twona ngo tutandikiraho corruption abo kwantuferwa billion ibiri as a United States dollars was in Domza Uganda ni trillions,
more than 10 trillions annually.
Yes. Is an essence nyingi. Tooro ni tourism city ko bagizire oku bachi aba area jinji ermu Rwenzori ermu Kibale National Park eri Rwenzori Queen Elizabeth erhi Semuriki area is suitable for tourism. Konkaza benefit from tourism. Tourism netwa kuzibwa. Akwati ntutunga milioni emwe n'emitwaro 20 tourist entries. Ihanga nka Kenya abaku marketing ihanga na Tanzania abaku marketing ihanga yabo kurungi. Nibatunga milioni 2 trip. Uganda turukwe marketing nka ihanga. Kantu n'ebintu bingi ebiri attractive. Ego kuchara mahanga mengi abakuchuza tourist abakuzayi. So na ntwena abeho fund yo ku marketing ya Uganda. Kuri ngo tuyimusiya enamba y'aba tourist kurga milioni 20 wasio milioni 5. Nchimanisa areas nkeje ya Fort Portal. Eziri focal areas for tourism. Abantu meyongera bakono bataha. Tourism kirungi cyayo. Investments waiza ku kombeka nguto nungi. Ukareba habaho health services ezine standards za higuru. Abukwa tourist nwanwe wenango babe nibaza mu ebicweka where aro guarantees zo kugira ngo umuntu kugira kwaragera cyabaho atunje bujanje. Na insurance yabo rikonesha shora neba nemanya ihanga ninkai. Ahari good health services. Ateko investments therefore health services kubanungi. Notoko investing mu evacuation mechanisms. Kureba enguto zazirunungi ezabakutamburaho kuza mu health facilities. Yes, aho naona mayangu nabasa kuba fast evacuation. Kwa hano tujya na air ambulances. Either fixed wing or in a fixed wings na shimekuwa roho ebshayi byenyenyi azikuwasa kulandi. Na helicopters. Haro tour agencies aba insurance n'abaramzi benyini bakamanya facilities zozo na kuziri in place. Kwa no marketing ihanga nchikwangira kongera namba. Kandi hati abantu entrepreneurs aba domestic nichibanguhira kutandikira mu areas ezitari so capital intensive kuzanko za factories ukonoreba bingi hata barumuni ni foreigners konko muntu okurwa muri Tooro okubana enda kutahonka bed and breakfast kwenda kutahoka cottage hotel bishangi 10 15 20 23 yazo muri yes parks na tahoka hotel ako. So nchoba chena ngo beharo sente za government development funds okawanti mbabatine capital yaho cash ngwaji no munga konka ko hariho funds ezo kombeka nkomu wakawayongera namba y'abaramzi kimanse inote ko increasing a bed capacity. So have opportunity hata abakobina interest on your area baboronge sente low interest rate long term repayment period. Waiza kombeka hotels abakombeka hotels baba market for abantu abarukujachi abine barukuhinga wahinga karoti wahinga cabbage abakuhinga za avocado nebijuma ebindi batunga market abo warambuze kwa benji na hotels kuba nyingi kandi hatemberaho agro processing industries when keje nanka ibatanu baragansa industrial park tima ya factory yon
tina mweza amajani mostly
okay. So nkezo hata naza maboko za agro processing abantu abakonwe nako kupakinga ninga processing butter, processing yogurt, processing cheese.
The dairy products.
Dairy products. Abakonu benda kupanga juices, abakonu benda processing. Byone bakonu processing ebikwate na agriculture, ebikwana bizankai fruits, abakonu biza omuriejo, industry ya tourism. Aba hotels kuba nyingi kana baramuzi bakabenye. Echo boosting economy y'omwanya nk'ogo.
General, before you go to another sector,
yes.
Tooro, they have a very big problem.
Yes.
You're not talking about it. Of recent Parliament,
yes.
And is given to a certain class of people.
Yes.
If the people of Tooro trust you,
yes.
what is your plan on the issue of Meirungi?
Currently,
the people are growing it in the, mostly here in Kabarole.
Yes.
And we saw the government coming out with...
Actually, said Kijura, right?
Yes, Kijura
yes,
and
yes.
Kiburara.
Okay.
We saw the government coming up with a bill that we have not seen the president append his signature on, saying there's a certain class that is supposed to grow it at a larger scale.
Yes.
If the people of Tooro trust you,
yes.
what is your plan?
Mairungi nichenda plan is very strict government. Kuna mtiyali kingom bantu yangarino kashanga bantu wana baba addicts bachi ba drugs. Konka harho medicine. So wa organizing abantu like in a cooperative arrangement. Okatamna controls. Hakamuna labs ezokuji processinga bakaji mu medicinal products. Abokara katari heru international market. Icho nchoto shima kuji restricting ujangu nabachi abagega nabajina bonga. Nabakwara abantu on small scale industry kwa ngwa organizing into cooperative arrangement. But at the same time kore wangu wa building economy abantu ba jaramagara marungi bashoma kurungi batungo bujanje burungi ba investing mu areas zibakubarmu abariyo muhingi bakurakurana abariyo mburisa bakurakurana abokano marabantu abakuresorting to drugs. Most times it is out of frustration. So waza kureka any form of growing of any form of drug, ensuring ngu lives abantu zirichi environment yabo tarme kuba frustrating. Abantu abinja bakaba frustrated washanka abantu abatine sente zo kubasyaho ebonte bokon bend tendency wazankahi they'll depend on drugs, and it can become a nationwide problem. We have seen countries that go into that. So it's a double-edged sword. You have to ensure that yes, kwabaho abakurenga drugs tiza jirachi one type of environment creating a mass frustration on bantu abantu bakaza drugs to depend as a dependent source of comfort kandi kuba addicted because icho chabo ni undermining productivity ya yihanga abantu baba dependent on stimulants. They can't do much most times.
You talked about the issue of youth. We've seen in President Museveni's manifesto,
yes,
promising some backup fund for university graduates.
Yes.
We have seen Nandala Mafabi talking about putting 100 million per village. NT
for what?
For the youth and developing other people in those areas.
Yes.
As a National Alliance for National Transformation, what is your plan for the youth given the biggest rates of unemployment in this country?
Tourism. When you do that for tourism, hotels keyonjer, that's employment. Hotel zone, transportation. We're increasing rate ya entries from 1.2 million to 5 million. Emermer kuwa created ni mingi mnonga. Transportation, hotel industry abakonu wakoramu, aba agro processing. Hatogaruko kwa Central Storm Development Bank. Kure wangu abahingi n'abarisa batunga esente za low interest rate, long term repayment period. Umuhinji kwa kuba natunguka nabana creating emirimo, umurisa kwa kuba natunguka nabana creating emirimo. Kuba kutunguka agro-processing industries to tap into that. Agro-processing industries is creating emirimo. 3, koko investinga first it will focus yetu ni household. Train an individual household, born awari household. But training je kurungi, medical facilities bezeri nungi, bakujanja wa kurungi, invest into agriculture for purpose of nutrition. Omuntu, the human being, kwa kutunga ebintu bishatu: good feeding, good education, good training in skills, good health. Nuwe wealth yihanga. Ako omuntu ogo creative and innovative capabilities ziba heightened. Now creating an environment omuntu ogo akuza kugira ki ku exercising capabilities ezo. Okuza mu industry naza mu industry. Yaza mu industry ya growing na creating emirimo. Yaza mu agriculture, whether livestock, whether crop, na developing. Na harga byo kosa for domestic consumption na exports. Kukutunga exports, revenue is equal to first haremshore, then revenue collections is from exports. Was tomo infrastructure, enguto, amashanyarazi, amazing. Ebi byayamba creating an environment for entrepreneurs to exploit that conducive environment. Haruna zile sente funds is a low interest rate, long-term repayment period. Ebyo bya creating an environment in which a country prospers. Yangere kuwa prospering, na creating a dynamic yo kugira ngo naguma habaho expansion. Economy yaguma na expanding, no guma no expanding activities of production. Aguma no expanding activities of production na emirimo erikubera. Tuturukwena ngo okwate sente zabusha. We don't believe in that. Sente zabusha most times tina chikurugamo. Reka abantu bagende ba borrowing aho sente zabusha cyo kubanza government neta zine zeri kumara. There is no way you can give free money all round. It's just simply not possible. Kuboro ine sente nkezo zityo nk'abantu abarukushoma bagire source bakubasa ku borrowing sente nazo ezo kushashura abana higher institutions of learning which will be repaid. We're increasing in terms of population to milioni 4.5 atugambira. Myaka 2.5 tuza kuba milioni 10. No yakubera developed country. Milioni 10. Wa sente zabusha. Recovering, I mean, you can't sustain that. You can't sustain that. Maybe bijana musebena gamba. Yes, kokweza kugira aba entrepreneurs bakora ebyo. Then sente zabusha zori kwijako. Tizabusha in a sense because not you focusing the vulnerable people. Not amwe sente ezo kuba training in skills. Not amwe sente ezo kuba sa kukozesa omutunga tools ezo barakose to develop. Ekyo ntuteka ncho kikumotivating abantu kandi kikabareta no kuba kugira pride. Umuntu orukora ruhangana ko yatukozere. Umuntu okore sente ze na ba proud kuchira umuntu wahe sente zabusha. One sente zabusha tizere sustainable. Because tokuwasa ko umuntu esente buri kwezi for 12 months in a year, and the second year, and the third year, and the fourth year, and the fifth year. It's just simply not possible. Neze sente zibakwano rate is once for a long cycle. Kuzibuza garaka kwetorora population yana garaka montogo, it could take you maybe another 10, 15, 20 years. 15 years. So what is going to be happening in those years? Creating a capability ha montogo. I sustaining it throughout that whole period. Atatejize cycle myaka 15. Whatever. Mankeza PDM, okay, it's good. Omuntu kujitunga je million emwe. Yaba gitira mu kintu kikuza kuzara. Konka ya shangara nkomu hardship ya either fees ninga irwaro ninga kushashara mabanje zikamuho. The next month naza kuba on the ground like he was maybe then a month.
General, are you among the people who are supporting PDM? That is one of the programs can elevate poverty from?
Planning ya if the planning is good. If the planning is good. Kind of reinforced na more funds. Ezaba antaba kuborrowinga bakazita in entrepreneurial projects. Ahabukuba teno kukubasa ku developing ihanga a million emwe family. Echo kubanza abazitungire hati when will they get it again is the question. 2 million emwe abantu abakoza kuzikosa zikazara tebingi. So you need to have more money than 1 million. Omuntu hati yana za kukora nka let me see.
Let's talk about poultry.
Kajenka poultry. Poultry kuzakutandika poultry. I highly doubt whether you can start poultry highly profitable a million emwe. So umuntu yana nakutandika ka poultry akwenda million 5 ninga million 10 nazia is the question. So ncho hashimekuwa funds ezokumangu omuntu yajana ya borongeze sente ezakuja kutom project era atambure ikamusustaininga konka ebe eneme amagoba gahansi abukata bakora nka poultry abadare aba farming crop esente zibakuchera kugeza okutunga nezo musako sako no shangeri nka percentage 36
Yeah.
Esente percentage 36 nubiya kuguza mu commercial bank takwasa kosa commercial loan ya amagoba 24%, 25, 26, 27 nguwa succeeding omuchi muri agriculture. Yo chikondera sente aronke bakweta agriculture finance credit ya Bank of Uganda eriyo mu commercial banks. Echo kubanza abantu 20 bakujimanya kane sente ninji tizikukabenyi. So one ndanga habeho development mu sectors nkezo noto yakongera mu sente ukachipublicizinga ukatraining abantu dero bakatandika on their own. Ako umuntu okutunga sente million 10 akumanya ngo percent yazo enkari percent 10 11 12 umwaka.
That is 1% per month.
Yes. Abantu abakuza amaboko bari entrepreneurial nibagira bata niba succeeding nibatunga mu good returns on investment. Kandi aba succeedinga no bagumaho no bongera muntu we na operating ya capital ya 10 million waguma nawe no mukuza ya hekari ya 2 ya hekari ya 3 ya hekari ya 4 ya hekari ya 5 ije operating ya million 10 aguma na expanding no aguma na creating emerald agriculture industry small scale industry. You have to do that deliberately. So no take training abantu abin entrepreneurial skills what the whole funds is what I cause in form of like an extension service scheme. Koraga n'abantu abari no moving abor kureba ngo bine capabilities, good management skills, bine good bookkeeping culture no baza no bombeka. Ko kuzakureba nkaza South Korea bine international brands. There was specific involvement ya government promoting abantu kaza Hyundai, Daewoo, I think there's also LG, there's another international brand, Kia is a zone. Government yet very involved to give them soft loans. Where is a backup in terms of trainings, in terms of helping in access to markets, international markets. Government could negotiate. And when China is opening up, no African countries is focused are benefiting from that. The Ethiopia and Nezin. Kutawa infrastructure. Never independent incentives is all kutawa. Government is in a discipline. You're young. If you're not in a kukwasa kubo, auka problem ate twin. Omuntu orikuba na yorekanka potential for growth. My government could come backing. Hati individuals of government beija ngubatahe mu business echo. They muscle in. At times they simply muscle in, trying to get shares. And of course, in a number of times, it looks like they even force themselves into and almost get, free shares. It's a problem. Government here are disciplined. Yeah.
Thank you very much. General, we are with General Mugisha Muntu nabazahe bintu bingi muno. He has highlighted on how best we can solve the issue of unemployment. He has tackled on the issue of agriculture. General, is something sensitive that you've been doing, and a few have been criticizing you.
Yes.
We really want to know, why are you doing it? Last time we were seen in the streets of some towns,
Yes.
asking for
money.
For money.
Yes.
Why are you doing it yet? You're one of the people that we think could be having a lot of connections. You can get aid and money from foreign countries.
Yeah, recently ziri omunsomu waziyada nozitunga, but it has its own strings tied, you know. Tokuzitunga, there's no free, there's no free lunch. Wazeyo kazitunga, you'll easily compromise the country. First, you compromise the party which you operate within. Haruke sente nka drug traffickers, sente ziri, human traffickers, bijri. They are looking for bases where they can operate from. So aronka party kuzanko mriebyo, no zihayo, yes, but that means kokweza kutunga, you know, control yihanga, you must open up for them. But jire bases, how they can operate to do all the activities that they do. There are so many illegal activities over this country. You can easily get money from such places. Nabuga kwa mahanga gahero, tubakwa sente zafu. They want to come in, and basically, literally, they can derail you. You can find that the country no longer is able to freely and independently make its own foreign policy directions. Oshanjoro tied, abuka tunge sente zo. So kushawa ante sente is normal. Mushikono rewa America, mbusha America kuwanu bashawe sente kurgumbantu. America is the wealthiest country literally on earth. Besides now, China is about to overtake it. Kono rewa ba presidency, they do public fundraising. I think they are not fully aware of what happens in the rest of the world. Two, citizens kwa kweli send. It's an avenue for their direct participation. Ku influencing a future yabo, ninga ku influencing a political event. Tubona umuntu wena nabasa kuza umurwarizi. Tukugira ngo no kutera karuru konga. Abo kuza kutera karuru no kateo katera party when it has built influence, when it has got support infrastructure. Hata ibyo nebyo mbeko eta 18 cent. Whatever. Two, abantu kujya kutoba kacetegereza. Parties, abantu bazi funding, they'll be interested in knowing how the money is used. Party unitaka jira mu government, or in my own estimation, esheme kuba tested. Watch it. Negotiate sente ziha umuri contributions. Is it using it in a transparent way? Is it frugal in the manner in which it uses money? Because party yona umuri gwe cost some cent, nukwera cost ene sente za government, yazam. How will you know that unless you fund a party? Three, it is satisfying for a citizen kumangwa investing in a vehicle that is going to manage a country. Echokubanza, umuntu okuza kuta sente mu party, it means that party policies zayo resonating na interest z'omuntu ogo. So it's also another way of interest groups influencing direction in your organization. Suppose nkabashamasa bareba party bakajango eji party, we think it will take care of our interests. Kurujya mu policies zayo, kurugira mutu kureba. Abashamasa mu ihango mu bateko n'abarenga mutwaro nkamu njyana bayiko mutwaro nkama 20 noko. Hatu washanga nkabashamasa komu abashamasa mutwaro nki10 bate sento party. Burmuntu ya 15 in a month. That's 500 million. It can't be lost on that party. Kumanyangu Abashomesa have made a significant contribution to party building. So party Nkejo will take care of interests of Abashomesa. Workers, the same thing. Farmers, nkaba majani. Babe ina problem nke hate ibene. Nkaba majani ngakaguhati. Awa majani, kwa kujangu, okay, we have suffered too much. Government hote kuturuchiriza.
Let's subscribe to NT.
Let's subscribe to NT. Tubate msente, umtwaro. Baba riyo mutwaro gumwa bahinji b'amajani batamo mutwaro. That's literally 100 million.
100 million
A month.
a month.
That's a significant amount. So, Haten Wabi and Nachi, they have built rapport with an organization. Organization, they are subscribing. They are part of them. And therefore, it works that way, elsewhere.
Do you
Kandi,
see...
Arawandi, abakutunga sente kurgan komu state. State, it's by the constitution. Koko is a member of parliament. Kokano rewa problem na eri uko. Okano rewa kapati zibe zene members of parliament. Tuka ze member of parliament itu. Abazi ze members of parliament. Onore government kuya ba twist injire ya letechera jire chisia chokujangu waza kutunga ze sente. Onote kuwa member wa iPod. Kandi wa member wa iPod. Note ya kuwa attending summit.
The iPod summit.
Hatu koro bitakwenda kuzomuri yebyo yononda kumza mno yombe kapate. Now you are put into in a fix. I mean, kapati ziza zibestakwenda kuzoma iPod. I don't know how they are going to act now with that kind of situation. Because citizens kuwa backfunding, nobody is going to twist you around. You are free, you are independent, you pursue what you believe is your best interest ya party. Nabantu bakwana subscribing to it. Nobody will blackmail you.
Do you see NT achieving that, given that currently the politics of this country, mostly the political parties have monetized it, that political parties have to give people to belong to those parties?
We don't talk about Unicenter wouldn't give cash to people. What for? Abantu nwanu wenda good leadership. Whatever. Taro party kuwasa kuhereza abantu cash yakachibasi, except nka NRM, erkose sente zeitu. Mushike nka campaign ya NRM, do you think it is funded by party members? Nobody puts money in NRM. They get money from the ministries, from the votes, clearly. And of course, big business also puts their money. And then they give them incentives like tax-free holidays and things like that. Whatever. It's not possible. Party kuhereza abantu sente. Just simply not possible. Abantu nka million 18 voters, how will you give them money? Normally, abantu nubate sente mu parties. Globally, NRM neheza abantu sente ezabo. Iyohereze mutwaro 50 at the end, ezikuzomu LC1. Bazibagana umuntu ayihora 10. Next month, yarwara azomu nanko mu irwaro, tarme bazi ya government, azomu private, ashashore mutwari 10. Already ya losinga. Tooro mwenda. Abantu bakuchetegereza ekyo. It is just low levels of consciousness. Itu muhando gutwira ntujira kuma ntushomesa and what you government will literally completely reverse trends ezizero. Abantu kumanya they are responsible for parties. It is not the other way around. Babantu batachetegereza. They are going to get nubajagumana utunga government ezikuba manipulating. Because look, while them 12 C1, baga we hor kum, shinjir kumi nizigasha chomondo. Tako waza kumanaza even weeks even.
Even the
really,
day.
it's a psychological manipulation. Manipulation yabantu, and it's also demeaning. Really, it's demeaning. Nchiragambira abantu. Otegereze shinjir kumi. Onyankoko omu kibuga cyawe. Enkoko negure mutware bere network mutware shate. Atoko muntu wakwa rukumi kuinfluencinga in your thinking na teka ngu value yawe really is lower than value yankoko eyoine. Basically that's what it means. They may not say so publicly, but abari mu government they know that. Abo kachi kintu bakikozere systematically over a period of time ku breaking sense ya self worth tema kuna kucheta ekitinse kiri omuntu ekyo ruhanga yatwangire integurite yo kuba oine abantu naba feelinga kurungi munonga yakore senteze aine sente zarukosa zikumugasha buri kintu cyona okawa breaking abantu bakaka point eba kushanga ngo tibine muringo kuba kubasa gukora mu sente zo kubasiya bibarkwenda hati amesho bakageihaho na ruhanga ibi yakoze reba kubasa gukora itakarurungi nebindi hati bakagata kuza kushera umuntu orabaye shinge 10. It is a systematic way of controlling people's minds. Overseer point ya desperation, overhooking, hook, but ya hook. Abenji tibakchimani. Ntibakcho reversing echo. ensetari mu bantu bakwehurira mu ekitinisa nense kubera umusitani kabisa.
General, a few group of people nebagamba you make no difference with President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Yes.
Given all of you were mukambukisaka mu
Yes.
Rwanda.
Yes.
How true is that?
Hati kubakora bingamba nebinkora bakare byagamba nebyakora nebishana kubera nebishana riba manyangu dushana kubera bitakushana then we are different. Clear abantu they don't have to go far. You know, ahubwo nojangu ndenkawe kundiyo kumkani ngumwe akampugwa minister na yaheza kwenye hombo wa command 98. How many years back is that?
27 years.
27 years. Tuatana mshikuna nze kutungu wa minister nkani ngumwe ndiyo muntu ari discipline nkabe njiri mu government most likely. So tukayentu wakarakata hamwe. But the fact that we separated in itself should show. Can't jam 7 wenka na butunza kuzamuchaka za Rwanda. Mkandi very very close mu UPC circles. Tataka chairman wa UPC the whole of Ankole. Itaka very cut in 213 districts now. Akar close na mjeza but you know. But I broke ranks. Kuna revere baha bamhanda na zamuchaka. Nikanye n'imyaka 23 kandi takabe na muntu mukuru. Tatani kiragambira abantu akaziko but nwe yamuhira Nairobi aho yagwire 77 twamuzika. I went there quietly and buried and came back. 83 government ni yamuhira Nairobi ikamtwara ntunga mu kumuzika. Bakanu bazika ndi already ni program ndiyo mchaka ni ndwansa government yo but so I really follow things even kutete ngo bibishikire kukora. Whatever. General Museveni think tutukarwana gate personal level but policy tutata kwikiriza 2004 kamakans in public in Chankwanzi we end up in the constitution culture no that time. Even 96 in the commander there was a meeting public meeting abantu ngabo bakujima kamgamenti we are losing direction. There were about 400 people. Nchiri commander bankanchiri na commander. Whatever. So abantu amwe nwa associations nwa zireba by physical presence of people in one entity nkokutwarwe na mumchaka but therefore they think that kumuramu physically together in an organization, for example whether in government or like Tooro, that necessarily means gudumushana, which is I can't understand why people would do that. Awuko nabarongo abakunu mutoro mwine abarongo abarukushana identical twins. They are not the same. Umwana shanga ninjira kose exam nyina nabaza kumuhe sento mutwaro kuzagura nka ekintu katari agaruke yakigura kashanju amujyango yakigura mutwaro ondijo azeyo akigura kashanju amugarurize change commission. Now these are two people identical bakargo mu ndemwe nyina nomwe ishenomwe different character. I can't understand why people can't make that differentiation.
General, we've seen in other countries number turant by taga kutwara ubembezi different political parties on the opposition side come together.
Yes.
Kurante basobora kuamba rescuing ihanga.
Yes.
In Uganda, why is NT not collaborating with other political parties? See that you front one presidential candidate who can take President Museveni out of power.
Okay, one presidential candidate doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only form your quaterns. No. Can rescue kurescue ihanga chikumanza kweho government and that's the end. Abuga kurigankaga nero kusiyahati tugize government zikukankomora umwenda General Museveni president wa mwenda abo nchi yanga ritakahinduraga direction abo gito ntekateka ngo okuya government eyo kubona Rwanda yargo then okamanaginga obutegetsi in a totally different way kugarihanga on the right track. So at times nabashaka mu a common interest omukweho government konkoshanje mutakushansa methods which direction to take. Yeah. So kokubano muzakoragana in the short term you can numbasa koragana hamwe mutine necessarily one presidential candidate mwene experiences hatona hundukuza umwihanga kunkushanga yo member wa PFF murondera karu kumuri Uganda ho nahunda birabe hari members ba NUP nanga twine cyandiko memorandum of understanding ato tuje na PFF kunkana tukushanga ba NUP imbarondera karu icya kabiri hino muntu we nurahuriho mukanyewe ninga members bitu bakwatakinga PFF ninga kwatenga NUP tukachikozere tutukuje kuchikora eje nyo kutegatenga nenkoraga now there are things able to cause to developing beyond that. For example, common message have been able to want to chezana collaboration nko kora hansi tukareba ngo protecting a vote together. Those are possible mwana mwichiza kuombeka egari yo kutamborramu no mwakwa mtine candidate konka unfortunately abantu abinje mu politics opposition batete yangu kuzakoragana nimutya kuba mwene candidate itwenteka tekete nebegera ngo no mwakwa mwene candidates babi numbasa koragana habiya byone bindi mukukirizana mwene ka vote protection kugira ngo hona ahari pate in organization infrastructure eronda abantu apate ndije tariyo eba protecting njera karuru ebohereze DR forms. That is the logic, simple logic. Konka abantu abo batete yangu twatine presidential candidate ibintu byona tabikwatanisa itwente yateka ngo umwamwe n'ibintu bitana mwekeza hareben mukoragana hareben kimwe kimtekerezana mukirwane nje separately. It's possible mbaza kugira presidential candidates babiri konka mukoragana habindi byona kandi abantu bakerebe ngo muri mukoragana. So aho no hari issues ninja time is resolving tabuka problem erho kumu kugira ngo mwamutine presidential candidate mutaka koragana mbindi byona kimasanga tumwembe kagari best case scenario mwakwatihanga that's okay, there you can now work together if you agree on how to run government. Worst case scenario babe bankakaruru, that means you are back on square one. Mwena cyo kubanza tumwene gari imuombekere yo kutamburira hamwe so that kubara bibe mutanche there from straight mugumze muri kurwana kimaza kubara bibe hata muza kurondana kuza kuombeka ki a new vehicle yo kutamburiza. It doesn't make sense to me konka. That's what it is as of now.
Don't you think why people are saying like that,
yes,
division of votes in the regions, and
yes,
if let's assume Mugisha Muntu Nwalum Karuru na President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni,
yes,
it makes you stronger, given that Najakobataro division ya Karuru, division of votes, given now like now you're 6 of you.
Well, basically, I mean, parties is active, really. I don't know. As much experience here, all right. And when you add up the vote eventually, you may find that even having many candidates in itself wouldn't affect the front runner, does it? Last 2021, for example, Katungo Remtuar Mukag, Nobuwa Kujonjire, for example, the front runner, Hona Uchagurenyi, it wouldn't have made any difference at all. No. But my participation, at least, enabled us to plant seeds then. Hati ebituru reaping. Now we to participate because we are building something long term. We are not just looking at Museveni. Museveni is a passing cloud. Na zakurgaho yangana zaguma. Emiyaka nkaga neshatu. How do we put the country back on track? How can you have running through 9 governments bonabakujenda in the wrong direction? That's a big problem. So we are focusing on that. Tutukuwaza kuzomchinchir temporary and then possibly to go in the same direction. We have to put the country back on track. So one of the message which focuses on that, the long term. A chumba kora short term, ukonkechinchecha election is an event. 2 months time, what will the outcomes? Twaba turaberemo pater kube a front runner opposition por se direction yayo nuyihangarira atore most likely ukaniye kubera the most influential whatever. So it even maybe to considering it. no kuyaho kwa government ejereho kiri important aho kwato kwasa kwindurira ngo karito muhando gushikire utabanze kuyaho government ero konkana government ero kwe kurugaho. The key issue is ihanga narezo muhando gushikire ningana mugumiza mu the same direction like has been for 63 years. That's critical. Abantu bakuchireba itwentukireba. Yeah.
General, we have few minutes to malira program. And are you seeing NT winning the coming elections?
Yeah. There's nothing which is impossible under the sun. Harold Wilson said a week is too long in politics. Now we are waiting for 2 months, 2 more months. Who knows what could happen between now and then? One thing can happen and totally reverses the political direction of the country. Itwe, ntuichereza omu engamber kujangu. Success comes when opportunity meets with preparation. So it will keep organizing and building. Anything that comes, even as we are doing this campaign, we are doing those 2 things, building, organizing. Sending a message is part of organizing. And when the population recognizes that the solution lies with NT, there can be a sudden shift. Now, a sudden shift, it will what we prepared. We are permanently preparing, consistently, persistently, and waiting for that opportunity.
Given what you say that NT, you're focusing on long term.
But also doing short term. Short term for us is in the long term, because they are 2 different things.
I wanted to clarify, because Ugandans currently, the whole issue is on short term. How do we?
Yeah. Short term, moving in the same direction. It we are looking at long term, even as we do short term. Tooro is short term. It's only 3 months. Elections are 4 months. We're in the short term. But focusing on the long term, how do we reverse the trend of this politics of the country? Government so how do you change that? Manipulation, deception. How do you do that? Not building capabilities. No kumanyangu reversal age. No rebe chintu beyond the current government. Ojiheho konka focus yao. Eriyo kujangu wajiheho wa managing power in a totally different way. Icho chochita hachiremeri. Abantu barwana kwiha echibar kwanga. Babora kuombeka echibar kwenda. I don't know how I can explain that. Many people fight against what they don't want. They don't pursue what they want, so that in the process of achieving what they want, they remove the impediment to what they want. Abantu abinyi barwanse chibatari kwenda chichirugaho bashanga batine plan of how now to move towards what they want. And inevitably influence corruption, weak institutions. N'abantu kushanga ngo batari very bold and firm to make sacrifices. Further sacrifices kugira ngo twakwatihanga tutakazo mbyo kwiba. To take the route of wealth acquisition in a very short way. Koko batachombe chiri. Kumukuza muti. Hate mweba kujya kumanyangu. No, 63 years abantu bataho mbyo kwiba ebya making shortcuts. We need to build institutions. We need to establish systems ezeri functioning. Abantu bakahikoha mbazi okushama kukaba standards zahiguru tukombeka nguto tukombeka marwaro hakaba hemermo. All that requires patience and sacrifice 24/7. Koko tombe kirecho mukurwansa mukiyaho mugarika mu bankabo, because you are not able to withstand temptations za power. That's what has happened in 63 years. So that's something that is so significant that people need to apply their minds to it. Most of them are nobody leadership all over across. No movement, no government, no opposition. How come that Numbazak Marimia Kaganeshatu and our government Ekurwan Sendiju Kwekujiho ever trapped? If we don't pay attention to something like that, what stops the next group which gets in to do the same things? And then it takes another group to start fighting. You know? That's what I mean, thinking long term, but even acting in the short term, consistent with what you are projecting to do. So, to very emotional on being to politics. Politics is emotion. Most people are driven by emotion. We don't. We do things out of deep analysis. Abantu sometime back abantu bakabataka twetegeze kurungi.
And up to now,
this has no. This is an opportunity for us. I go all over the country. I can see that people have really started understanding us.
Where I'm basing say
well.
that people haven't understood
yes.
your philosophy as anything.
Yes.
You're not having crowds wherever you go.
No,
just
crowds. That's another, perception problem. Abantu whatever crowds. You hati kutora jamu omuna nko studio oshitami calculate crowds as candidates abakuzitunga, how many they are. See? How many are they? Maybe umtwaro, maybe mtware ebiri, kajengo ne mtware ebiri. Hati mtware ebiri bazamu iganana na mshanju, right? I don't know what that gives you. Yeah.
Let me do it here very fast.
Because Iganam Shanju are districts. And most of our in the they do one stop in a place.
20 times 147. It is 2,940,000.
A million ibiri.
Nimtoa chenda nene.
Nimtoa chenda nene. Million ibiri nimtoa chenda nene. Echirku mansangu. Candidate. Orukubana atungeje mtware ibiri. I'm putting out in the upper side because normally it will come to every real. Kokaba mtware ebiri ningo mtware gumogo antu barebe kuba benji. So wazum districts igana mshara. At the end of the campaign watunga close to 3 million people, right? Voters is 18 million. Voters are 18 million. So abantu benji I can understand about influence. Kokoro crowds bajangu that must be popular. We focus on message. Than crowds. If we can push our message through different channels, we make many meetings, like averagely around 9 meetings a day. Harabutu kuzamu districts kakora nka meetings itano mukaga omu districts twakora ibiri oshanga twakora nka meetings nka mwenda 10. Abantu no basa kushanga batari benji munonga basa kuba abantu nka 300 200 Koko nka 300 se average wakora meetings 10 there'll be about 3,000. Message kwekwe ne resonating anabo. And then ukakosa channels, social media, TV, radio, ukahika abantu million ke 15 out of 18. Then for you leave that decision to the people who have heard the message. If it's a message which impacts, you can get influence. Abantu bata following the crowd, but following the message. And they reach a conclusion that these are people who can run a country. They can hold it together. They can reverse the destiny of that country and put on the right track. That's the most critical thing I see.
What is your say on the involvement of the security arms into these elections?
Look which star they do that. I have heard that they are now organizing army officers in their home districts. They have done that before. So what I do normally is to warn those who are in uniform. The Chokuanza, Ihanga, Nichira, Twen, all of us, the 8 vying for presidency, including General 7, the country is greater than we are. Our future is very critical. So our young uniform, they need to think deep. One, obutako zesebu. Because change happens. General 7 and Jacques will go one way or another. So why exposing? You go and do heinous things in the area where you come from. One, problem yokubanza. Government yargaho, iwakuwa warwatirira abantu. What happens? That's one question. 2, if you act unprofessionally, and then government changes, what do you think happens? They must think. 3, who are supporting out of fear or opportunism or whatever, regime which is taking the country down, and there's a crisis. UPDF has acted in many, many parts of the world, of the region. Somalia, South Sudan, Congo, where there have been failed states. They know the cause, bad governance. So they should do things to avoid that kind of situation. Uganda. But it is ultimately their responsibility. But one thing I know, whether I get involved or not, change is a constant. It will happen. There's no way anybody is going to avoid that. So the best thing to me, officers are well trained, they need to stand on the side of history. Time can be very ruthless in judging people. If you go on the wrong side of history, you can easily find yourself in a grave situation at some point.
As we come to a conclusion,
yeah.
Do you believe Justice Byabakama has organized the free and fair elections?
It's beyond him. He's basically put under pressure, and I have been in by-elections, I have been in general elections. The problem is that abantu b'injabarimu institutions where if they stood their ground, they could put things right. Many of the people don't have the courage and the boldness to act right, even if it means them being fired, to be fired. That's why there is a crisis in this country. It's not only Justice Byabakama and EC. I see many people in the government departments, in the judicial service system, So it's a general management problem, and two, the character of the elite. They play safe simply to survive, even at the expense of the country, because there's always a possibility that when people do that, and they are doing it all around in every sector, that the country can easily go down. But many people never look at the country, they look at themselves. But that also has a time when that shifts. So, group like ourselves, we recognize that. So we have to create a new environment where people can regrow or recover themselves and to help them because of the conditions that are in place. To gain courage and also self-esteem. Most times, I know when they are in their homes, they must really feel bad. You know what is right, but you are doing what is wrong. When they are doing something wrong, don't think that they are feeling good inside. I think something is eating them up.
As a retired officer,
I have a sense in where they would, even if they got a chance, they would themselves take out Museveni if they thought that they wouldn't be known.
As a retired army officer,
yes.
What is your comment on the first son's tweets always as akubagana akora?
Well, I mean, Museveni kwa kushoki hang first and foremost. Problem tiya General Moses. Problem near General Museveni, because he takes responsibility. He's the commander-in-chief. He's the one who should have streamlined General Moses. He shouldn't have been looking at, even if he made it out of his own individual merit. If he had made that, he shouldn't have been looking at him as a son. But unfortunately, he looks at him as a son. He has positioned himself as a son. He has failed to streamline him, because no other general would have done what General Moses does and not be taken out even within a month. So it's a weakness on the commander-in-chief. Of course, also a weakness on General Moses in the sense that if he's really interested in being a president of a country, he should have acted different. He should have simply been disciplined. He should not ever have got involved in politics when he's still in uniform, knowing that he is breaking the law. So one and kuba president wihanga, and then or up commander of mahe, or you know hende berajiro, kora hende or commander of mahe, hat koro president no vote. Of course, on a weakness yaband. Why omuntu okuhende berajiro takabere president? Why on earth would you even think of giving that person a chance to be president? How could that's enough test? No, rengo go monto and never take a president. You have a president, na guisaka. So they need to
there's something that we've not tackled just in a minute as we went up.
Yes.
The size of the Uganda's parliament and the cabinet.
That would just reduce that. Doesn't make sense. It's absolute. It's even incomprehensible how a country can have 530 members of parliament in 1,800,000. India in 1.2 billion people. in a parliament, upper, lower house combined, 600. So we are short of 70 to be equal the size of the Indian parliament in about 1.2 billion. America, the largest, the wealthiest nation on earth, okay, it has 300 million people, but in terms of
senators,
no, in terms of wealth, tuchiza emironi nebaze kurenga no muri 50 ombugai. Combined both houses, Congress and House of Representatives, tubakana abantu bitano ninga bitano na batyo. Museveni has done the politics. Fortunately for him, he's able to manipulate public opinion. Unfortunately for the country, it's damaging in terms of expenditure. You can imagine if that money, Uganda should not have more than 250 members of
lastly to the people of Tooro,
yeah,
that have support for President Museveni. They want to still protect the gains.
Gains nubanga y'abazine kandi ndabuko yo n'abantu baremeramo abamwe nabagigura tubon bona nabagigura inguto nimbi abamajana babergarmo esente zikagwa o enguzero burahantu tebene mbazi no mu referral hospital buhinga tebene mbazi ate no protect the gains ko kubuza abantu abo kubona imbuza nkuza we no mu rwere nazo mu irwaro ya government harimo bazi wa mutoro mu private bafutera billion million mshanje munana mbabuzi ombanti 10 abakubasa kushashara million mshanje munana mwenda private hospital no bange no mwana bange yamangu ni kabantu babi inaneri so abantu babi no bara protect nje gains ababiri ko barazi protect nje munana bantere
general abantu batoro turgano
abantu batoro mwe bari muno abari kutubugabuganaho naho turkuza ntubashaba ngo General Museveni twenda kumusiya hakabi so nabo cyo kumukunda mutakatina twentwe tukoragane tumuhumuze kurungi ihanga rigire umururu rwo kubanza barare president wa humura akaguma mu ihanga no wazama dere bintu bikatambara kurungi tikikabahoga General Museveni kimuremere katwenite twachikora nk'abantu okihangana ryitu ihanga tiri ya General Museveni.
It was a pleasure having you, Jim.
My pleasure.
Ntubasima muna abanyakwikera ha 4TV kurugasa isatu kwikato uteka kumalire ntekane zenu tuge twine General Mugisha Muntu, President wa Alliance for National Transformation. We've discussed a lot and today where are you?
Kabarole.
You in Kabarole?
Rural.
Kabarole district.
Kabarole district, yes. Rural.
Which area specifically?
For Portro City, we are coming in January. Ntuza Chijura, Ntuza
Kijura Kabenda and
Kasenda.
Kijura Kabende and Kasenda. You have the president today. For Portro City, you are coming in
January.
Why?
Cities, we are going to do cities towards the end. Actually, Ntuja Kora Hoima, Fort Portro, Kasese, and then Mbarara. Towards the end, region age.
So currently the main focus is in rural areas.
Yes.
Kwikoptola tanga na kiro cha nyencha in the Morning Star program. Free Talk is coming next. I wish you a very good morning.
Fort TV ikara osemerirwe.